welcome everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining today for our webinar series for small business, Connecting for Success. I'm Barbara Coffey, Director of Economic Initiatives for the City of Tucson. Today, we are featuring a panel of Black business owners here in Tucson. We'll hear from them about the challenges and opportunities they face as they work to grow their respective organizations. We will take your questions as we go, so feel free to enter those in the chat box or the Q&A, and we'll get to as many of those as possible in our time together today. We will keep all participants muted since we do have a large number of attendees, but we will record the session and make that available for everyone as early as tomorrow afternoon. You can find links to all previous webinars at connecttucson.com. So now I'd like to introduce the panel members, and then I'll start us off on a series of moderated questions for the panelists. So first, Ashley Larussa, founder of RU Events, an event management company with a primary focus on supporting the growth of organizations and community leaders that foster equity, diversity, and inclusion initiatives. Ashley is the project lead at Black Friday, the largest accessible directory of Black businesses in Arizona, which can be found at blacksfriday.com. Ashley serves on the Local First Arizona Steering Committee, BIPOC Community Managed Loan Committee, and the Board of Directors at the City Center for Collaborative Learning. Next, Barbia Williams, an award-winning performer dedicated to sharing ethnic dance, theater, and visual cultural traditions that derive from Africa and the African diaspora. Barbia is the artistic director and co-founder of Barbia Williams Performing Company. In addition, she's in her 19th year as faculty in the School of Dance at the University of Arizona. She also serves as the managing director for the Barbia Williams Performing Company's Dance and Art Academy. The company is a current special events grant recipient of our Economic and Workforce Development Grants program as well. Her daughter, Bia Williams, is also with us today. Ralph Bankhead Jr., co-owner of ATL Wings on 4th Avenue in Tucson, is also a panelist today. Ralph has worked in transportation for over 25 years, from city transit to private limousine transportation. Then 2 years ago, the opportunity to open a restaurant came about, and he and his wife took on the challenge. He's happy to report the restaurant has been experiencing tremendous growth, and Ralph's business partner, Brittany Palma, is also along today for our panel discussion. Rounding out our panel, Tracy Conklin, resident Savonnier for Artemisia Soaps, Salts, and Scrubs. How do I do on that? That's my new French word for today, Savonnier. I got to keep saying it. For more than 10 years, Tracy has been making and selling her soap and body products, which are made in small earth-friendly batches using plant-based oils, butters, botanicals, essential oils, and fragrances for their restorative and nourishing benefits to the skin. She also makes lotions, body oils, salt, sugar scrubs, and bath salts. All products are made in Tucson and inspired by the Sonoran Desert. So with that, let's start, and I'll throw out a question for all of you to kick us off with. So here's what we'll do. Talk a little bit about where you are now, given the last 11 months of this pandemic and its impacts. What changes did you have to make in order to survive? And of those changes, what will you keep going forward as you continue to grow and develop your business? I guess another way of asking that is, what are those lessons learned from this past year, and how is it making you stronger? So let's start with Tracy. I'll just run right to you, and you can tell me if my French was spot on there. Oh, and I'll have you unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry about that. Your French was perfect. So I was going to say, yeah, this year I had to do a lot of reinventing. And then there was also a lot of like luck that was involved. And I collaborated with other businesses that were going through the same thing I was going through. So that's how I got through it. Like a company, Creative Juice Art Bar, we got together and we did classes. So I taught them how to, blend masks and things like that. And then I also, started teaching lotion and soap making. So it was a lot of reinventing and, downsizing things.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, who wants to take a stab at this next? Ashley, how's it been for you?
Thank you, Barbara. And firstly, just an honor again to be on this panel with these distinguished business owners. I'm a micro business, so just made 2 years. So I'm really proud to be able to listen to the majority of some of this panel. But I'm going to contribute that, the past 11 months have been monumental, have been a shift in my mindset, and has been a shift in how I conduct business. And so relationships have been so important to what Tracy was speaking to, really starting to align the values that I hold true and making sure my team, my clients, my community partners are also aligned with those values.
Awesome. Awesome. Barbia? And I'll go to Brittany. I'm having trouble I've done something where, oh, there's Barbia, and I've lost Ralph too. I've got to figure out how he can unmute himself. But go ahead, Barbia, share a little bit about where you are.
I am the new tech person to come to. I just have learned so much about technology that I realize, having been a business major, having worked with computers and technology very, very, very early on in my career, that it has definitely been very helpful for me. So I am enjoying this wonderful challenge of just, Zoom is pretty easy at this point. It's so many other things that I have, I'm just beginning to address, and working with people that, of course, have more knowledge and more experience than I do has been a real treat. But I'm just looking forward to really getting back to that in-person events. But at the same time, I really like the idea that we can have more of a presence, not only on our local level, but also nationally and internationally. I have friends now that I'm connecting with that you talk to every blue moon, and now you're able to talk and see their performances, their shows, their workshops, and just talk to people, definitely along with family and friends too. So there's some good things, we always make the best of things. We've been around long enough to know how to do that. So it's been exciting in that way, but I definitely miss a lot of things that in person, seeing people, even 6 feet apart with mask on outside is still not the same as, a good old fashioned hug. So, but otherwise we are survivors, right? Gloria Gaynor told us we will survive. Okay.
Yes,
All
she
right
did.
now.
Oh, good. That's right. I think I got Ralph back. But I want to comment on what you're saying, because I do think that in one way that our audience did expand, right? The ability to use technology to go far and wide, internationally, you mentioned, and across the country, and connect with people in ways where we had to get on a plane and travel somewhere. And we learned quickly that maybe we don't have to do that anymore. But I think for your special events, that might have been a particular challenge. So how have you used this year during that time?
Are you talking to Barbia still?
For the performance side, right? Yes.
Well, we had our we took the Juneteenth that we normally work with the Juneteenth committee, and they decided to cancel it this year. So we took it on as a virtual 7.5-hour project with some wonderful partners that came in and joined us and helped us again with technology, especially Pima Community College. So we have actually just been doing everything virtual. We definitely postponed, canceled some of our normal events that we would have hosted, but we decided that we would take those we, especially Bia, my daughter, she was very instrumental in coming up with some new ideas, new energy for different virtual workshops that we could present that didn't that didn't allow, that you don't have to have large groups of people, which we're used to. So you have to think out of the box. You have to know what who to talk to. We've been around in Tucson long enough to know, the right people to talk to. And they were more than generous about helping us out. So we went on from there. I just can't even say anymore. It's been, like I said, a challenge, but at the same time, you work with what you have.
Yeah. No, that speaks to community. And I think that's something we've all found special here in Tucson, and certainly have leaned into our community. Ralph and Brittany. Ralph, I think I got you on the phone call. Yep. Tell me how has life been for ATL Wings?
You ever been on a roller coaster?
That's great.
Yeah.
Great.
So if you ever saw a graph that goes up and down, so it's been a kind of like a roller coaster ride. Our first year here, when we first got in, it was great. We made consistent progress, and just about the time we were gonna hit our momentum steps is when COVID came into play. The pandemic came on. So my wife and I, Velvia, we kind of looked at each other, and I asked her, why did I get out of the transportation business to get into the restaurant business? So, we give the glory to God, and she just said, well, if we're not supposed to be here, we won't be here. So with that challenge, when it came, what we realized is that we had a roll-up window. And with the clientele that we had built, they were pretty loyal. Your restaurant clientele here in Tucson, I've noticed that is a little bit different than the metropolitan Phoenix area. Is you have loyal customers, and we had kids that would, they would really support ATL Wings. So we just rolled the window up, and after the first, I'd say the first 2 weeks to 3 weeks, when people kind of panicked with the pandemic, they realized that they were going to have to eat. So I guess they said, well, what do we normally eat? ATL Wings. So our numbers went back up after about 3 weeks and stabilized. And we've been doing that ever since. They go up and down just a little bit, but we have survived. And what we have done is kind of contributed to the local restaurants, and we found out that Tucson here in this county, their restaurant owners, business owners really help each other out, and that's something that I haven't seen in other places, and I really appreciate it and have become a part of it.
That's fantastic, and I appreciate that perspective. And Brittany, feel free to jump in if there's anything that speaks to you about, this period of time and how it really tested each one of us, and yet I think brought out some real creativity in our business community. So I think that's exciting. So if I had to ask you, what are some resources that each of you might need access to in order to take your business or your organization to the next level? How would you answer that? What are some things that would help you?
If you know of a good bank that they would give me the key so I could go into the vault and just get a whole lot of money. So
Access
on my
to capital.
Yes.
I hear you. Access to capital, access to
Yeah,
funding. I know it.
yeah. But I was just joking. But we've had great resource channels here in Tucson. And I forget exactly what the acronym is for the assistance that we have received, but we've got a lot of financial support through a couple of organizations. And again, I fail to remember which they are. But Brittany, you can kind of jump in too. I don't want to take up all the time.
I was just your co-captain. You were totally the captain. So I'm
Yes,
new
but
to
and
ATL Wings.
Brittany's very modest and has lived in Tucson much longer than how long have you lived in Tucson, Brittany?
Since off and on since 94.
Since 94. And Brittany is she's a real estate owner, real estate company owner and broker. So she's fairly new to the restaurant business. She's a 50% partner. So I kind of brought her on. We've been in here for 2 years. Brittany's been aboard. How long, Brittany?
Since the beginning of 2021.
2021.
So
I don't know where you can start, Brittany, but just give a little bit of your, your history here in Tucson.
absolutely. Well, I grew up with Bia, so I know Bia quite well. And I've always been an advocate for minority-owned companies in general. As a Mexican-American, Latina woman business owner, I take pride in that, and I stand strong on that. I will continue to break any ceilings that I can. And my children are brown. It's very important to me to give back. So my company personally has been around since 1978, and it's been essential to partner with minority-owned companies to leverage each other. So my closing gifts I work with my insurance companies, and of course I'm open to everybody. However, I will say anyone in my office is all about empowering women and giving back to minority-owned companies. Every home I sell goes back into the community of minority-owned companies. So that is my heart. So when we had an opportunity to partner up with Barbia and Ralph, of course I jumped on it. And I'm excited to use my roots in here, that I've been watering these seeds in the Tucson community to really grow our company. We just poured additional concrete, so we'll be available to have dining outside, which will help because it's tough. I mean, it's really tough right now for everybody, but in the restaurant business, I can only speak to, and to have that outside dining is pretty essential. And so we were blessed to be able to launch that on March 1st, right, Ralph?
That's right.
So.
Yes. Tentatively, it's going to be the 1st or the 15th. We'll be launching our reopened dine-in, and we have expanded patio space for the customers.
Yes, so we put the tables out today, so that was exciting to be a part of.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that's exciting. And maybe after all, that was a little push, right? For you to expand sooner than maybe you would have, or to try something new. But I'm sure glad to see you to doing that. I think that's exciting for the rest of the community too. And we'll enjoy your new reopening. Yeah. The
and Barbara,
yes.
I wanted to share real quick who ATL Wings is. ATL Wings, when Velvia and I landed here in Tucson, it was for a reason. We wanted to come to an area that was in a development growth stage, and Tucson was. So we were the 8th location when we came in here to Tucson 2 years ago, and now there are actually 25 locations. There's the second location that opened up. I pretty much brokered the deal, and he's open on Broadway. We're open on 4th Avenue, and very soon we will be opening in I guess northern Tucson. And ATL Wings is just one of the fastest growing franchises right now in America, owned by a husband and wife. So they're going to be big things. We just partners with the Phoenix Suns. So we're the new restaurant face of the Phoenix Suns. So there's going to be some really big things for ATL Wings. And Tucson only has 3, but there will be many other locations.
Fantastic. And see, we can say that you heard it here on the webinar for Connecting for Success, right? First. So that's awesome. The Phoenix Suns announcement is awesome. But again, it speaks to your ingenuity. And so really, really appreciate that story. It inspires. What else? Ashley, Tracy, are there some things that you need access to that help you grow, that help you be successful? What would they be? And unmute. Don't forget, we don't want to miss anything you're saying.
Things that I need. I was going to say, surprisingly enough, the community has been really stepping up to help me out and stay in business. Last year, I ended up with my year being about the same as last year. And I've had so many people who come in, and they come in just to support, to make sure I don't go out of business, So the thing I would need most would be customers, and, they're showing up, and it's wonderful. And I have to admit that Black Friday list is huge. I mean, that was probably, I couldn't even tell you how much business I got from that last year, and continuing to do so now, but that helped out tremendously. Thank you.
That's great. Yeah. What do you say to that, Ashley?
Thank you, Queen. Thank you. Thank you for being an example in this community, for young entrepreneurs and business owners to look up to see it happen. I just love how you're thriving on 4th Avenue, and the partners there on 4th Avenue. All of those merchants really do band together and help each other during these times. So thank you for such a huge compliment. I can't wait to tell the team right after this webinar, we have a meeting, and to tell them what you said, because that's what keeps us going to do these initiatives. Barbara, you asked what I need. What I need, I feel, is truly a community need, and it's this. It's these conversations, really talking about some of the businesses that may not be as in the spotlight as others, or may not have the media around them, or following all the positive information that's happening and growing. So what I need is this, and this is happening. So into 2021, the more we can have these conversations, the better Tucson could be.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, and it's your willingness, right? It's each of you jumping in and being willing to share. And I know, it's been a phenomenal year of, ups and downs. Barbia, and I know your daughter Bia is on, and maybe you have something to show us. I think you wanted to share a little snippet of what life is like for the dance company.
I do. We have a really dynamic show coming up, and I am going to there we go. It should be on screen share, and I'm going to open it up for full screen. This is our upcoming, our Blackness, our Heritage, 4th annual.
Are y'all ready?
It's gonna be explosive.
We're gonna take you guys back to the last 3 years of our Blackness, our Heritage Step Show. A retrospective look.
Then get ready, be prepared for national and state appearances, because a change is gonna come.
Join
Barbia Williams Performing Company and team keeping the culture alive on Saturday, February 27th from 4 to 6 p.m. Standard Mountain Time, featuring West African, hip-hop, spoken word, contemporary dance, and more.
Purchase your tickets at eventbrite.com. OBOH Rise Up 2021.
This is going to be a show that you don't want to miss.
And thank you to our gold sponsors, Ken's Hardwood Barbecue, Pima Community College, and University of Arizona Africana Studies Department. Rise up!
And I just want to say, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So this is Barbia Williams. Oh, you want to stop that? There we go. We are super excited to also have the city of Tucson. We applied for the event grant, and we did receive that as well to help us produce this amazing show. So we are super excited to have that additional partnership from the city of Tucson.
Fantastic. Well, that is enough to get me completely excited. So I'm excited to tune in. People are asking in the chat about getting a link to the video. So make sure you share any of that information in the chat as well, Barbia. That would be handy for people to go right to that Eventbrite location and get those tickets. And I think, again, just one more way to, share what you all are doing. And I saw even the business connections, other businesses are associated. Was it Ken's Barbecue? It just shows, it speaks to that community that we've been talking about. And so I think we just keep sharing that with others. I see some hands, oops, not my hand raising, but some other hands raising. And so I'm going to check into that. While I look for those questions and remind everyone that you can pose a question to our panelists, and be sure and put that in the chat or the Q&A. What I'd like to ask you now is talk about being a Black business owner. What are those unique challenges? Or I will say Black or Latina, because we have Brittany alongside Ralph today. What makes your situation unique? And what, we want to talk about this. We want this conversation to grow. And I think we need to hear from you. What are those things that are unique to being in your shoes? Who wants to start?
I'll start it. When you say unique to be a Black-owned business, oddly as it may seem, when customers come to our location, the majority of them don't know it's Black-owned. They don't even know we own the business until maybe through a conversation or so. I haven't really met any challenges because I'm a Black business. I've received a lot of support through the recent Black movement, the Floyd incident that occurred, some of the other things that has happened over in this country. We've received enormous support from everybody, and it really, I'm serious. I'm a native of Phoenix. I'm a native of Arizona, and when I saw what occurred during that time, it really made me feel good to say that I'm from Arizona. So as far as the challenges of being a Black-owned business, is other than financial resources, I haven't really had that that challenge that you're speaking of. Not blatantly where I could talk about it. I might be forgetting something, but I haven't really had those type challenges because I'm a Black-owned business.
What about, so I appreciate that. And I think it's true. We don't, there aren't distinctions really for most people, and most people don't know the inner workings, but have there been roadblocks or barriers at all? Or have there been times where you felt at odds in a situation or underrepresented in some manner? I don't want to say that there is, but I just want to know if that's something that we need to hear about.
Well, you're gonna have, as a restaurant owner, you're gonna have people do certain things, and my mom taught me a long time ago, if you don't have anything nice to say about people, keep your mouth shut. So we have customers that when they recognize certain things, there's a certain air that is put on, but we don't buy into that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't buy into that. We just treat everybody the same, and we move on. Small challenges with customers about certain things, and that's not really the reason that you're having that conversation or challenge with them, but we just pretty much take it on the chin and we move on and get over it. It's not a lot. It's not a lot though.
Good. Other experiences? I mean, it could be work related or in other ways that you've interfaced in the community.
Yeah. One thing beg pardon?
Oh, Barbia
Hello?
had a thought.
Oh, go ahead, Barbara.
Or he can go ahead. I was just waiting. And I would say to answer your question, Barbara, of course. Yes. Unless you are, I'll tell people sometimes, unless you are just very much just not owning it. I think James Baldwin said to be Black is, in America, in the world, period, it's to be in a constant state of rage. I am a pioneer. I've been in this community with a business for almost 50 years now. We'll be celebrating our 50th anniversary in the next year or two. And I can't even begin. There's just the roadblocks, a sense of being discouraged by various aspects of the community. I have to say that, we've paid our dues, so we don't have any qualms, but it's definitely would take longer than this time that we have now to discuss it. I've written some things about it. I've documented a lot of it, how people treat you, the inequities in terms of funding, the inequities in terms of resources, how we are used as pawns. So there's a lot of things to really say. So, and I'd have to pull up all of my notes. So, and I have been writing and documenting them for the last couple of years now, because I think it's important to for people to understand what, the trials, the tribulations that we've gone through. When people talk now about equity and diversity and, all of those kind of things, they need to talk about it on a real level and stop sugarcoating these things. Right. So I'm saying there are still lovely people in this world, but there's some really realities that we need to deal with. So that's where I'm.
No, thank you. Thank you for your vulnerability and your willingness to share. And I hear you saying that there's action now. There's action needed. And constantly, right? It never stops. We have to constantly be attuned to what's needed and then take action on that. And so I appreciate that conversation. Tracy, you had some thoughts, I could tell. Oh, muted again.
Yeah, I was going to say that, you run into people who, aren't very nice and have different views than mine, but I just don't give them any energy just because I don't have any time for it. And usually, you know, they go away and I put my energies where, you know, they belong, like in reference to people coming into my store and stuff. So like, you know, people, you know, wanting to wear masks or not wear masks. And
Speaking of coming into your store, Rosemary brought up, she's on our audience today. She says, Tracy, I absolutely love Artemisia. You are such a treasure in our community, and we East Siders are lucky to have you so nearby. Stepping into your store smells like a trip to the south of France. And she asks, are you getting the web traffic these days at your website by artemisia.com? Are you seeing some activity there?
Yes, I was going to say when this whole thing hit, my web traffic went up like tremendously. It was like amazing. And like before I'd get like maybe 4 or 5 orders a month, and I went from that to like over 20 orders a month.
Great.
So
great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And having that digital presence has proven to be quite an important and significant business asset right now, right? So that in this,
has. Yes,
good.
definitely.
Good, excellent. Ashley, thoughts about what you're hearing and what you're able to do as an organization to help out?
Moved every single day from hearing the truths of our history from Barbia to hearing what's currently happening between Ralph and Tracy in customers and in exchanges and energy. Truly, what I do with Rue Events is focused in DEI work and around courageous conversations. And so as we're able to have more of these courageous conversations about race, about our ideals and the disparities that come with those identities, the more we're able to understand each other's experiences. So I was just absolutely inspired again to hear some of the things that may occur. Just lightly in my own history of what I've been able to see with my own eyes. I'm originally from Port Arthur, Texas. Port Arthur, Texas is southeast Texas near the Gulf of Mexico. In Port Arthur, I've seen Black business owners try to start their own businesses and be intimidated. And this is as early as I can remember in the 90s, but I'm sure it occurred before then. And to this day, there aren't many Black-owned businesses in Port Arthur, Texas. It's now more of a refinery town. All that to say is that what I pull on and look towards and what's coming up here soon is the memorial of the Tulsa Massacre, and noting how our Black business history in America is based in intimidation and being burned out of town, as it were, and murders and lynching and death. And so in knowing that that's our history, as we move forward as business owners in 2021, it's almost at this state to stop asking the question of if and what and how did it happen, but what are we going to do to fix these things and to balance these inequities? Because we can't wait another 100 years for a balance. It's more about what's happening right now, to your point.
Mm-hmm. You do not know this, but I grew up in Port Arthur, Texas. I lived there till I was 9 years old. I'm not joking. I went to Sam Houston Elementary. And
I did not know that, Barbara.
I know the things we learned.
Have to have some conversations.
All we have to do is start talking. I know. So I do know that pocket of the world, and I know it's seen its share of changes and gone through its ups and downs. And but yeah, I understand what you're saying, and there's work to do, right? So you brought up a point. We're having these conversations, we're talking about these experiences, and I think people listening in today are hearing you all, and they're inspired, they're understanding what it takes to become more resilient as a business owner and as a business community going forward. And that's what I like about these kind of conversations. So if I ask you, what would you do differently going into the rest of this year, 2021, or going down a new path to really change the way that we interact or enhance our business experiences and create more opportunity for your business? What would you do differently? And what might you be looking forward to? What are some new opportunities that you'll explore? Who wants to start?
I'll say something in regards to that, Barbara.
Yeah.
I would definitely say, as a nonprofit organization, the Barbia Williams Performing Company, we are all about that in-person connection with our community. So I would have said definitely been ready for this virtual, look into having the proper tools to be able to deal with your community virtually. And I'm so glad that, there's so many YouTube videos out there that can help us gain that education to be able to have a chance to, how to set up Zoom and how to set up a streaming service and a video live, and then all these other opportunities that different organizations have provided. Tools. I know that I've used Catch a Fire through the community foundations of Southern Arizona, but having all of these resources, I would have probably started years ago to make sure that I was up to date on the new technology. And I would say moving forward, just taking ownership of that and making sure that, if this pandemic continues, that we continue to have those opportunities to still be present in front of our community members, because that's what's truly important, is still having those connections if we can't be there in person, but being able to stay connected and to develop other connections as well, and to have a network that you can actually pull from and connect others to. It's always about collaboration within the BWPC company. So we go by our 3 C's, community, collaboration, and culture. And then definitely making sure that we're always keeping the culture alive here in Southern Arizona.
That's awesome. Thank you, Bia. I think those are great things for all of us to be thinking about. Say those 3 words again: community, culture,
and collaboration.
And collaboration, of course. Absolutely. What else? Tracy? Or is it, or Ralph, you had something? Either one.
Yeah, I like to, being in the Tucson area for 2 years, what I've actually found out as well, some of the organizations that I was familiar with in bigger cities, lived in Los Angeles and Phoenix, and I guess Mississippi, the organizations like the NAACP, Urban League, there's a lot of history here, Buffalo Soldiers. And I've noticed that there's been kind of a change of guard here in Tucson, and I'm jumping on board to support those organizations. And learning Tucson, it's a much smaller town, and people of color that have been here for a very long time, everybody knows everybody. And we have become very well known in a very short amount of time. So navigating through these different organizations, finding out a lot of things. One of the organizations that we partnered with is Goodwill Metro. And Goodwill Metro has a re-engagement program for the youth. And through our travels here for the 2 years, we've encountered probably 8 to 10 kids on this youth program headed up by Lance Meeks down on 4th. Is there anyone that's familiar with where the Goodwill Metro location is?
Yes, and
Yes.
They are also a grant recipient for our Tucson Economic and Workforce Development grants. We've worked with Goodwill for many years. Our mayor and council supported them and their youth program, and it's fantastic. So I'm glad to hear you have engaged with them.
Yeah, we have. We've actually had probably about 8 to 10 of their youth coming through in the re-engagement program, and we have 4 currently. 2 of them have graduated the 100 hours, and we've hired them on permanently. They're actually minorities, and it's been a good run with Goodwill Metro. And a lot of times, if you aren't familiar with certain organizations, we're on 4th Avenue and University as a new restaurant in town, and we welcome everybody and all information. Sometimes things are misconstrued because if you don't know, you can't support it. So I'm the marketing consultant for ATL Wings, and I get out and try to find out as much as I possibly can. So our doors are open for sponsorship. Our doors are open for information. Again, we're only 24 months into this Pima County area, and we are very Black. We're Black as they come. So by all means, information is power. Yeah. And if you don't have the information, you can't act on it or support it. So, Barbara, with you bringing this virtual Zoom information is paramount to me.
Well, it's great advice that you have right there for all small businesses, all business owners. Get out there and make yourself known. You know, you said you're very well known in the community because you actively work at it. You get out there, you network, you talk to people, you meet organizations. You said your doors are open for getting involved and sponsoring things and working with, you know, the youth and workforce programs. So you're getting involved, and I think that's fantastic, and it's a great lesson. Tracy,
Barbara,
yeah.
Can I add real quick just to what Mr. Ralph was talking about?
Yes.
They are very instrumental. I worked with Mrs. Velvia on previous projects, and they have definitely supported another board that I sit on, the University of Arizona Black Community Council, for a home away from home program for the Black students on the U of A campus. And I went to Mrs. Velvia and asked for their support, and ATL Wings sponsored food for our children there on the U of A campus for the MLK building. And we had over, I would say 250 to 300 students come through and had a wonderful experience to, you know, having a home cooked meal that was provided by the community, and they helped support that. And it was right before Thanksgiving. So students that were not able to get home, and they had that support from the community. And we are a very small community here, the Black community. So it is definitely appreciated, you know, that they supported those efforts for our students.
That's awesome. That's a great story and a great connection. And Tracy, I wanted to hear from you.
I was going to say that this year, with the pandemic, you know, with everyone having to pivot, I've always wanted to have like a refill section where you could come bring in your own bottles and you could refill them. And then with the pandemic and all the waste that we're generating now, nobody's thinking about, you know, not generating waste and filling up our landfills. So that's something I'm going to be doing this year. You know, like having more sustainable packaging, like switching to glass from plastic. And then, you know, you can come in and refill your stuff.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are a lot of people thinking about how to get back to, right, those priorities. They're so important. I know it's been paramount. Our city, our mayor with the climate action plan and all the things that falls right into line. So we'd love to promote that. Our small businesses are doing those things. So make sure that you keep me posted on your progress with that. That's fantastic. Make sure to, if you're listening and you have questions, please let me know. You've got the Q&A function or the chat to ask a question. I'm going to roll out one of kind of the last thoughts that maybe you as business owners and leaders in your organizations, what's the one thing you're looking forward to this year? And maybe it's not even about business, but maybe it's just something about the world we're living in, but it could be anything. What is it that you're looking forward to in 2021? Ashley?
Yes, I'll kick it off. We're definitely looking forward to, and it is about business. We're looking forward to the Black Paper dropping this upcoming Friday. With our partners from Phoenix and across Arizona, we've put together a paper really highlighting Black initiatives towards entrepreneurs, business owners, and founders. Also started a project called Pitch Black. We're having an info session on Thursday, again, taking pitch competitions and tailoring it specifically for Black startups and Black entrepreneurs. So I'm looking forward to more spotlighting of Black businesses and Black startups.
Awesome. Fantastic. I will have to mention, Tana wrote a note here for Tracy, just a comment. She was excited about your news that you shared. She was just using your lotion last night and was wishing for such a refill program and glass packaging. So there you have your first true supporter. She says, thank you. She's excited about that. So fantastic. All right. So what are those other things you're looking forward to? Tracy, do you want to mention yours now?
Let's see, what am I? Well, yeah, I'm just looking forward to not being as stressed out as I was all last year. Like, you know, actually enjoying making some soap and lotions and things like that. So, yeah, you know, and enjoying my business a little more. I mean, I enjoy it all the time, but last year I felt like I was like this the whole time. So I'm looking forward to being a little more relaxed and enjoying my craft.
Right, taking out that hard grip, right, onto everything
Right.
we've been holding on to. So
Right,
that's
the clenched teeth, yes.
yes, fantastic.
And
Barbia,
Barbara.
yeah. Oh, Ralph.
Oh,
All right, go ahead, Ralph.
No, I don't want to interrupt Barbia. Let Barbia go ahead.
I was just, you didn't have the benefit of seeing all our faces, so I'm just watching, you know, people's faces, and I hope to see yours soon. But go ahead. Ralph.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My phone is overloaded with information that I don't clear out, and when I Zoom app up, it knocks me off of my email. So I've got to get another phone or get this one cleaned out or something. That's why I'm not on the Zoom side. But what I like to ask overall, you have how many Black businesses on the Zoom call now?
There are 4 of you today.
Okay, there's 4. Now, out of that 4, I just want to ask a question overall. Is there anyone out of that 4 that hasn't had ATL Wings here in Tucson?
Tracy's on mute. What did she say?
So everybody has had ATL Wings?
I have not had one yet.
It is not.
Now, who is that? Who are you?
Tracy.
She has Artemisia. She's our soap maker, or my new word.
And then I need that soap, number one. Are you the one that's doing the oils as well?
Correct, yes.
Okay, and I need the oil. Also, for everybody that's on the call, we have a counter where we put flyers, information about businesses. Would love to get your information down there if there's anything going on that the community needs to know about. We have probably about 2,500 clientele base, so we put that information out to get it out in the community. And I'd also like to invite whoever hasn't been to ATL Wings Down to try our 22 sauces and the biscuits. We have fried biscuits as well with chicken. So just want to say that and let everybody know that we're there to serve the community with good food, good conversation, and positive spirit.
Love it. And we're all hungry now. So you have sufficiently handled that. Tracy, we had Lisa was asking in the questions there, where are you located? So if you'll let people know, that'd be fantastic.
Oh, I'm located on Tanque Verde, 6538 East Tanque Verde. It's across from like Trail Dust Town or where Sakura is, Sakura Restaurant. Yeah.
Awesome.
And my hours are, I do it by appointment, but my open hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 11 to 4.
Great. Great. And you've definitely inspired Lisa. Also, Ralph said she may have to head your way this evening. So just want you to know you're getting all the props. Now,
Yeah, tell her on her first trip to make sure to ask for Velvia or myself so we can make sure she has the ATL experience.
All right.
I love it. See, it's
I'm
who
writing
you
that
know.
right now.
It's all who you know, right? Well,
Right.
Barbia, you were showing us something. I want you to be sure. Yes.
No problem. I just have a couple of flyers. We have our upcoming auditions with African, ballet, Brazilian, various styles of dance for actors, dancers, musicians, storytellers, and singers. And we also have our summer arts program. It's called Kumba in African Arts. And we're real excited about that. Again, mostly virtual, but we are really looking forward to working as much as we can outdoors. Hopefully things will have changed or given us a little bit more leeway to be in person, but we're real excited about our summer arts program. And I also want to say that our updated video that has the city of Tucson mentioned in it is on Barbia Williams Performing Company Facebook page. So, you know, we work with things in increments as they come to us. So, that was our initial PR video, so you saw that. And like I said, we have the updated one that is on our website. Please feel free to enjoy that. All right. And thank you again for having us.
Oh, I'm so glad that you all were able to join, each one of you. So important to this conversation, but just thank you for taking the time out of your day. I know as small business owners, you're running the show and you're wearing so many hats, and I know that your time is so valuable. So I do appreciate your taking that time with us this afternoon. And we've had a great afternoon. It's time to wrap up. So I want to remind everyone that we'll be back next month on Monday, March 22nd at 3 p.m. So watch your inbox for the announcement and registration link. We'll keep you connecting for success. And in the meantime, don't forget you can call our City of Tucson Economic Initiative Small Business Assistance Line at 520-837-4100. You can also visit connecttucson.com for resources and to sign up for newsletter and updates there. So with that, again, thank you all to our panelists again, and we'll see you next time. Have a great afternoon.